If it's not fun, I'm not doing it. If it's not fun, I'm not doing it. Mr. James Cline, take it away.
All right. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster. If it's not fun, I'm not doing it. I'm going to say that again. If it's not fun, I'm not doing it. This is my main New Year's resolution for 2021. I'm going to inject a little bit of jollification into 2021. So I want you to say it with me, and everybody can unmute for this for just a second. You ready? Say it with me. If it's not fun,
It's not fun.
I'm not doing it.
I'm not doing it.
I'm not doing it.
All right. I'm glad that you guys are all not shy at all. So I'm 55 years old. And for many of those years, like many of you, I've made New Year's resolutions. Let me give you some examples of those. One year I decided I was going to lose 40 pounds and be down to my mythical weight of 160. Well, after trying an impossible diet for about 3 weeks, I gave up, and I was very disappointed with that. One year, I decided to quit drinking. That lasted about 3 days, and I was very disappointed in myself. I decided one year I was going to be a vegan. I made it 2.5 weeks, and then I decided it wasn't for me. Not fun at all. Last year, I had a goal to earn $161,000, and I fell far short of the mark. Not fun. So here's the problem with resolutions. All of the resolutions you make are along the lines of, what's wrong with me? What is wrong with me? And how do I fix it? Guess what? That does not work. That stuff does not work at all. I want to share with you a quote from Naval Ravikant, who is the author of maybe the best book I read in 2020, called The Almanac of Naval Ravikant. Naval says, desire is a contract you make with yourself to be unhappy until you get what you want. Does that sound fun to you? Doesn't sound very fun to me. I'm going to be unhappy until I get what I want. But as I look over my life, I see this pattern happening over and over again. I'm sitting in my house in Moab, Utah, and I'm a senior in high school going, if only I could graduate high school. If only I get to that point and I graduate high school, then I'll be happy. Guess what? I graduate, not happy, not fun. I say, when I finally move away from this house that I've been living in for 18 years of my life and get out on my own, then I'll be happy. Guess what? I wasn't happy. I say, when I graduate college and get out into the real world, then I'll be happy. Guess what? I graduated college, wasn't happy. I say, when I get married, when I finally get married and I have a family and join the ranks of the real human beings who are on the real societal path, then I'll be happy. I get married, guess what? Not happy. I think to myself, you know, I'm driving this 1978 Chevy Chevette, and this is a piece of crap car. When I finally get a new car, then I'll be happy. I get a new car, guess what? Not happy. I go to graduate school and I think to myself, when I finally finish my doctoral degree, then I'll be happy. So I finally graduate. Guess what? Not happy. I think to myself, when I get a job as a college professor teaching what I love, then I'll be happy. Guess what? Got that job? Wasn't happy. When I have a kid and start raising a family, then I'll be happy. Guess what? Had a kid? Wasn't happy. Then I think to myself, when I get divorced, when my marriage ends, finally, I'm going to be happy. Guess what? Got a divorce, my marriage ended, I wasn't happy. When I think to myself, if only I would quit the job that I've been doing for 17 years and do something more fulfilling, then I'll be happy. Guess what? Quit the job, not happy. I think to myself, you know, if only I had a hot girlfriend who loves me with all her heart, then I'd be happy. Guess what? Kind of happy. Still, I think to myself, if only I make more money, then I'd be happy. 2020 was the year I made the most money in my life. Guess what? Still not happy. You know why? Because external things don't get you happiness. Happiness is an inside job. For this Toastmasters assignment, it was kind of unusual. It asked you to write down your moods for 2 weeks and then report your findings to the club. You know what I found out? When I wrote down my thoughts every day, a lot of them were negative thoughts. That's interesting to me. You know what's better than what's wrong with me and how do I fix it? How about what's right with me and how do I celebrate that? Doesn't that sound like more fun to you? Sounds like more fun to me. What's right with me? How do I celebrate that? I have a quote that I came up with in my head. I think somebody else came up with it first, so I'm not going to attribute it to myself, but this is one of the mantras I'm going to live by for 2021. And it's advice I'm giving to myself. You could give it to yourself as well. When you decided to be happy without changing anything, that's when everything changed. Let me say that again. When you decided to be happy without changing anything, that's when everything changed. Another way of saying that is, if it's not fun, I'm not doing it. I'm going to say that again. If it's not fun, I'm not doing it. And I want you to all unmute with me and say it one more time. Let's say it together. If it's not
not
fun,
fun,
I'm
not
doing
doing
it.
it.
wish you all the most fun you've ever had in your life in 2021. Thank you, Madam Toastmaster.
Cline's speech, and as Vince spoke to us earlier, his response to the theme is, I'm going to quit smoking and exercise. And I'm already halfway there. I've quit exercise. Vince Curran, evaluating James Cline.
Thank you, Brooke. And thank you, James. That was a little, kind of off base for what you usually do. I love the fact that you took your title, you took your message and repeated it over and over. You started off 2 times and then you did it again. You had everybody call and response. I think that's very helpful because the repetition gets everything into your brain. It's weird and it's bizarre because we have always been taught in our lives and conditioned in our lives to want. That's why, that's what PR is all about. That's what marketing is all about. It's teaching us to want things. And that's not necessarily intrinsically within us. So we do have to learn to be different than that. Just because I graduated from school, what we have to do is we have to change our focus, I think. And you've mentioned that, to being happy, change our focus on not graduating from school, but enjoying going to school. It's not the end, it's the journey, as we all say. All these really trite little things. And the other thing that amazes me about this group is the synchronicity of everybody's speeches. It happens so often, and I think it's terrific. As you said, exterior stuff doesn't make you happy. And one of my feelings is, you know what? You really have to adjust your expectations. Just when you go, that doesn't give me pleasure, maybe you should redefine what does give you pleasure, what pleasure actually is for you. And you said the answer to all of this is to be happy, which is great, and it's simple, and it really is just that true. because there's a song title like that. My wife taught people how to quit smoking, and all of this is kind of a cognitive behavioral therapy model, where if you want to quit something, you look for the benefits, not for what you're missing out on, what you're losing. You should spend as much time trying to decondition yourself as you did learning all your bad habits. You invested a lot of time learning in those bad habits. But anyway, what I wrote down was be happy. Okay, how? And the weird thing about it is just be happy. That is it. Thanks so much, James. It was a great speech.
Thank you, Vince.
Improv evaluation because she responded first, and that would be Joan Janis evaluating the speech by James Cline. Joan, you have 1.5 minutes.
Okay, thank you, James, for that speech. Indeed, it was not in your usual rut. So yay, good for that. I liked that you had the black background. It was really somber and it went along with the speech. It was not distracting. Excellent work there. I have heard this speech many, many times before. This speech is a, when I get this, I'll be happy. And there are many, many versions of it. But you did a really good job making it personal unto yourself. And I think that you showed some vulnerability. Everybody thinks that you're rich and famous and doing well. And you let us know that it isn't always that way. So that was a real open-hearted gift to our club because, not everybody is happy. And when we see somebody like you not being happy, we feel better. So we have that going for us. The thing that I would say is I didn't find that you having us unmute and say with you, if it's not fun, I'm not doing it. I didn't feel like that really particularly added. And I would have used that time to maybe add some more humor to the speech. I liked your call of action, but I felt like with you talking about yourself and telling your story, you didn't bring us in as much, and you didn't give us, you didn't get buy-in from us. I'm pretty sure in 2021, I'm going to be doing things that are not fun. So you didn't quite persuade me all the way, but I love this speech and the topic couldn't be better. Thank you.
Thanks, Joan.